Good morning, everyone. This is Melody Reels at the Iowa Quilt Museum here in Winterset, Iowa, with another Thursday morning live. Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful week. It's definitely fall here in Winterset. Colors of the leaves have changed, and it's been kind of wet and dreary here the last couple of days, but I don't mind it. It's nice. Anyway, let's get started this morning real quick. Share Your Stash sale, November 8th. It's a Saturday. We're going to have it at New Bridge Church here in Winterset, which is on West Jefferson, all the way down. If you are close by or not close by, take a road trip, grab some girlfriends, grab some guy friends, grab your favorite audiobook or your listen to your favorite podcast. Come down to Winterset. Come on over. Come see us. We have a couple of AccuQuilts. We have lots of yarn and knitting and crocheting needles. We have thread. We have fabric and fabric and fabric and fabric. We have lots of fabric. We have Cape and Tula Pink, and we have lots of great fabric from Moda. We have sewing machines. We have a beautiful dress form. We have it all. Come check it out. Crafter's Delight, honestly. Come see us November 8th. It's a Saturday here in Winterset. It's a great big fundraiser for us. People have donated items since the spring, and we have a lot. And if you're hearing this and you're like, oh shoot, I wanted to donate stuff, hold on to it. Just hold on to it until like about December 10th, I think is what I was thinking. Just give us a month to recover, and we'll start taking your donations again. So that's coming up. Obviously, Halloween's this Friday. We will have candy outside our museum. That's always fun. They do trick-or-treating on the square. And November, we have a lot of little events, little town events coming up, which is nice. Let's get started. So Monday morning, Sylvia takes a picture of one of the quilt blocks here in town, or here in the museum, and then she posts it on Facebook and Instagram, and it's Name That Quilt. So she did Mondays, and we're going to look at that, but we're not going to talk about that quilt because we've already talked about that quilt. This quilt has is like a sample quilt, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 5 different quilt blocks on it. So, and then we're gonna go on a road trip back that way, and we're going to talk about 2 quilts today. So I'm going to flip you around so you can see the quilt with the quilt block on it. This is that Women's Christian Temperance Union quilt, and we talked about the bear claw, I think, quilt block here. We talked about the 4-H's down here, and up here, she took a picture of that quilt block up there, and I think I can zoom in. Let me see. Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna take you off the stand. There it is. That is a Churn Dash quilt block. Churn Dash quilt block is what that's called. And it was really popular in the 1800s, fitting, because that's when all these quilts were made. So I'll read you real quick what I found on Threadbare Creations blog by Rose Johnson on July 5th, 2019. The Churn Dash block originated in the 1800s, and it represented the humble butter churn. Looking down from above, the outer pieces of the block resemble the churn, and the center square resembles the stick or the dash. These classic blocks were indicative of early pioneer life and some of their utilitarian home items. You may know this block by an array of names, which some of you said monkey wrench, shoe fly, wrench, hole in the barn door, or picture frame. Just to name a few. Block names vary because women shared their patterns, but they didn't always name them. Blocks took on names relating to an individual lives of the different homesteads. The Churn Dash was often one of the first blocks young girls were taught to sew back in the 1800s because it covered all the basic shapes, triangles, rectangles, and squares. Girls could help their mothers sew quilts for the family and move to more complicated blocks on their skills progress. So generations of quilters have sewn the Churn Dash block, and it's one of the first blocks I taught myself to piece. Okay, so I'm going to put you back on the stand now that you know what we're talking about, and I will show you real quick. Let me zoom you back out. Okay. So I got that all from Rose on her blog. And then it's called On Point. So when you just kind of rotate the block, so the corners at the top instead of the sides. So this is the block here. I like that she shows you it's a 3 grid, 9 square, and then she shows you how it's done. But you go like this, boop, and that's what that is. Okay, so we're gonna take a road trip. And you get to look at these beautiful quilts that we've already talked about. Love that one. Love that one. Here we go. We're coming around. If you remember over here, we talked about this Stars and Moons quilt block a long time ago, probably one of the first couple weeks, and this feathered star. So on the opposite walls, we have another star and moon and another feathered star. So we're going to come over here and talk about this one first. We love this one because, well, for so many reasons, but I love the initials at the top, and you have the year at the top, which is great. That center block is, my guess, is the mathematical star. It's also called the Lone Star, the Texas Lone Star, and the Star of Bethlehem. We had a Star of Bethlehem in here with the Iowa quilts, and it was the whole quilt was the Star of Bethlehem. The pattern is known in England as the U.S. East Coast, and in the U.S. East Coast, that's a mathematical star. It was popular in the mid-1800s, possibly influenced by the invention of the kaleidoscope, an early American example in Baltimore in 1840. Just my little toe dip. That's what I came up with. I don't know if you follow me on social media. I did a post about what was it, Indigenous Day, Columbus Day, with the statue of the woman. So the Native Americans really took it on, and so did Texas as the Lone Star quilt. But let's see what Julie Silver has to say about it. Stars and Moons, dimensions 68 by 88, circa 1890, as you can tell by the top. Found in New York State, initials and dated in patchwork, MJW 1894, lended by Julie Silver. This quilt maker inventively inscribed her quilt by patching small squares and rectangles together to read the initials and the date. She floated the inscription on the ground of blue and with small sparkly white figures to add to the altogether celestial feel of this little wonder. So that, you know, it's interesting that she's got a lot of different fabrics up there too. So we'll take you off. And the other thing that I find interesting about this that gets a lot of, this is a fan favorite, a visitor favorite. You know, everything's usually when, you know, traditional quilting, there is a pattern, there's a flow. When you look at these moons, they are willy-nilly. They are going every which way. There is no like consistency in their, which I find really interesting that was, you know, their choice to kind of give it this more whimsical feel by them just being kind of willy-nilly. And just even adding them, like she had to have that template and she had to hand piece those moons. So let's take you off and we'll take a closer look. I kind of like this view in the camera. And seeing the lattice of the white in between everything. I haven't noticed that before. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, and let me put my gloves on. I was scolded the other day online. I do wash my hands, you know, before I touch these quilts, but I get it, you know. So here we go. And this is one of the, there's a handful of quilts in here that have multiple fabrics. You know, if we look just right over here, this is all the same fabric. You know, we have quite a few of those, but this is one of the few, just a handful, where we have different prints in here. I love looking at fabric. And look at her stitching here. Outlining of the moons. Almost gives it more of a rainbow shape, doesn't it? You got your diamonds down here. Following the pattern or the block, the piecing, blah, blah, blah. I'll get my verbiage right. Oh, you can see that little curve she puts in there. I feel it's so interesting that these feel cut off, right, from the whole star, but it's not. It only feels that way because she pieced these blue ones here, right? This star looks so different in so many different, you can make it look so different by just color choices. Look at that fun fabric with the big circles. It's kind of fun too. There's some anchors. So one of the rare occasions, I think it's one of two in here, that has the date on the quilt. I know there's maybe 3 quilts in here with initials on them. And then we have the signature quilt of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. Really beautiful. This one, visitor's favorite, one of them. Now we're gonna, are you on? I think you're on. Okay. We're gonna roll over to our last quilt of the day, of this morning, I should say. Ding, 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 ding. This is another visitor's favorite for so many reasons. And one of them you can't really see on the video just yet. Okay, so this is a feathered star. Dimensions 86 by 86, circa 1860, found in New York State, unknown maker. Get your quilts labeled. There is so much going on in this grand early quilt. The scale is impressive as in the dense and varied hand quilting accomplished with such skill. In the borders, here she added a small sawtooth border. It's really dainty, isn't it? And finished with a wide border of graceful vining leaves. But look closely, here she added lovely, delicate embroideries coming off the vines. Grand indeed. So let's take you off and give you a closer look. Just real quick though, I'll point out these flowers here and here, opposite corners, match. Here, match. Then you have this guy and this guy. And I get people asking me why they did this. I don't know. Quilter's choice. I don't know if it's it is a square quilt, 86 by 86. Maybe it was to mark the top of the quilt, mark the bottom of the quilt. I don't know, but I think it's, maker's choice. So let's come in and look at that quilting she talked about, which is amazing. Look at that. Here. And then she's got little, like a leaf pattern, I think, in here. We'll flip it over. Oh, look, this gives you a better look right here. Isn't that beautiful? And then the feathered star block. Again, another quilt that looks or another block that you can make look so different by just flipping the colors of the triangles on the ends, on the tips, like this feathered piece. It would look like a completely different quilt if these white ones were blue and this was white, which I think is what was across the way, the feathered star over there. And then adding these into here, right? Adding those points, kind of adding to the design, right? But each of the stars look to be the same fabric, but this is the fabric that's in this applique work out here. Oh, let's look at the embroidery she's talking about. Right here. They embroidered little stems coming off, or little, I don't know if you'd call them flowers or little stems. So sweet. And it's only on the top that embroidery doesn't come to the back. And you can see better kind of her hand quilting. Let's see. Yeah, look. She's got like little petals, little leaves coming out. She almost gave them like little vining even. Here's that. But look at all this dense quilting. I think I've mentioned that before, like, you know, doing this dense quilting really helped keep the batting from bunching up. I was wondering, so she just did diagonal stitching across here, across her stars. She is a looker. She's very pretty. There's that one flower. There should be more embroidery. So they're throughout the quilts, all around the brim, just kind of willy-nilly, a little random. This one off of here, off the flower. You can kind of see one way up there. Looks a little darker thread, but it could have just be over time. So, hold on. I'm just gonna put you back on here. And we talked about, I just mentioned the difference. So there's a feathered star here. And see what I'm saying about the blue and the white being, just giving it a whole different look. While having the solid piece in the inside too. Okay, there we go. Feathered stars, stars and moons. I should have done a video on the two stars and moons and the two feathered stars, but you know, whatever, here we are. Let me flip you around. Thanks for joining this morning. Hope you learned a little something. We learned about the Churn Dash quilt block, feathered star, and stars and moons, and the mathematical star, and the lone star, or whatever you want to call them. Don't forget, share your stash sale. Crafter's Delight, whatever you're looking for, come take a look. We might have it. We probably do. Oh, look, some earrings. I wore these purposefully. Little stars and moons earrings. All right, have a wonderful weekend. Have a safe Halloween. Enjoy your family. And we will see you next Thursday morning for another Thursday Morning Live. Be sure to visit our social media on Monday to see what the next quilt block is going to be. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.